Knight RPG may be one of the best reviewed TTRPGs that you've never heard of. It was a huge critical and commercial success in France, where it launched in 2022, winning quite a few awards, but it hasn't really been available outside of France until now. Knight RPG is a post-apocalyptic, near-future sci-fi RPG with some very interesting and innovative mechanics. The creators have spent the last couple of years refining the game, expanding it, and localizing it to get it ready for this worldwide launch, and we are very honored that they chose us to help launch it with this paid Kickstarter, well, not Kickstarter, but Backerkit preview video for you. If at any time you want to check out the Backerkit campaign, you can use our link in the corner up there or down below so that they know we sent you. They also have a free 36-page quick start PDF that you can download to see if this is a game that's right for you and your group. So, don your meta armor as I tell you more about Knight RPG. The story begins with a consuming blight called the Anathema, descending on the earth, sapping colors, chilling temperatures, spreading despair, and decaying, well, everything. But 24 former influential humans staged a resistance. They created domed safe havens to protect survivors. And a hero emerged wearing advanced meta armor. His name was Arthur, and he led a battalion of 1,000 armored warriors called the Knight to stand against the darkness. So this is a near sci-fi gothic horror game based on the Arthurian legend. Your heroes will be members of the Knight, powered by their meta armor to perform supernatural feats. One of the bedrock principles of the game is one of the main qualities that I look for in any adventure, and if you've seen any of my previous adventure reviews, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Knight RPG aims to present truly difficult choices to the players. A lot of these choices are going to be focused on that place where the lofty, chivalrous ideals of the Knight hit the harsh reality of the real world. When the very survival of humanity is at stake, sometimes fundamental ideals just have to take a back seat. Just in sci-fi pop culture, I'm thinking about the actions of Adama and his crew in Battlestar Galactica, or the choices of Captain Sisko in Deep Space Nine. And you know how so many of these post-apocalyptic stories never really answer the core question of what happened to create this world and why? Well, I hate that, but I'm very happy to say that Knight RPG does allow the players to discover the nature of the Anathema and how it all unfolded, so that's already a big check in its favor in my book. Now, this is a pretty massive game, and I've been able to look through the first 10 chapters of the book, and it's all very clean-looking and polished and well-written and organized. And I won't be able to cover everything here, obviously, today. I'll hit the highlights for you, but if you're interested in the premise, I highly recommend you go download that full quick start guide because it goes in-depth into the lore and the gameplay mechanics so you can decide if it's right for you. And again, that's linked down below. But let me tell you a little bit about the gameplay mechanics and then the character creation. Then I'll tell you a little bit about the fundraising campaign itself and the pledge tiers and the add-ons and all that. You can always use a segmented timeline below me if you want to jump around to just what interests you. So let's start with an overview of the gameplay mechanics. First, this is a D6 based game and you're going to be rolling a lot of them. The game is run by a game master, similar to how D&D works. Checks are resolved using a combo system. When you need a check, you'll choose 2 characteristics to roll. For running and shooting, you might choose ranged and movement. For sniping, you might choose ranged and acuity. The Game Master will choose half of the combo and the player will choose the other pending GM approval. Then the GM sets the difficulty. This difficulty will likely be affected by the combo the player chooses to use depending on the circumstances. So you may want to choose a combo well suited to the situation even if it isn't your very best characteristic. So let's say you're performing a long jump across a broken bridge. You choose to roll movement plus strength. Makes sense. Your movement score is 4 and your strength score is 3. So you're going to roll 7 dice. An even numbered result, so 2, 4, 6, is considered a success. And that's pretty much the basics of how the game works. There are a lot of ways to influence your results, though. You can optionally sacrifice some dice to assure success on tasks that you think are not all that difficult. You might have equipment that'll affect your dice pools or your rolls, all sorts of stuff. Just be sure to roll at least 1 success each time or you're going to face the consequences of a critical failure. And there are rules for rolling against other characters, for helping each other, and other situations that I'm going to leave you to discover. Combat should be easy to jump into if you're familiar with 5e. You have an initiative score that you will add 3d6 to. You get 1 action and 1 movement per round, and you have hit points and healing and damage. Your meta armor adds in armor points and an energy point pool and force fields. You also have a hope score, which functions a little bit like sanity in some other games. If you lose all your hope points, you fall into despair and you turn on your allies, and that's all just the basics. Now let's turn to character creation. Each character is defined by 5 aspects, each of which has 3 characteristics, giving you a total of 15. The flesh aspect covers movement, strength, and endurance. The beast aspect gives you aggressiveness, combat, and instinct. The machine aspect covers ranged, knowledge, and tech. The lady aspect includes aura, which is like magnetism, eloquence, and composure. And the mask aspect gives you stealth, dexterity, and acuity. When you create a character, you actually draw tarot cards, and these help determine your background and characteristics. You also choose an archetype, a great deed, which brings you into the Knight Order, a division within the organization, and a coat of arms. So, you take your basic human character and you start by choosing your archetype, which is like a background. You have things like citizen, and survivor, and celebrity, and artist, and genius, and outlaw, and quite a few others. You can also create a unique one with your GM if it seems appropriate. Each of these gives you a +1 to 2 different characteristics. For example, if you're a celebrity, you'll get a 1-point bonus in aura and eloquence. Then you start drawing tarot cards. If you don't have any, we here at the Gallant Goblin have covered several interesting decks in the past that you can look up our reviews of. You can also use apps and websites to simulate card draws for free, but the top pledge tier in this campaign features a thematic custom tarot deck that would be perfect. Now, this doesn't have to be a random card draw, but I think it's more fun if you do it that way. You draw 5 cards from the 22 major arcana tarot cards, and you choose one to be your past, one to be your gameplay bonus, 2 to be an advantage that your character has, and 1 to be a disadvantage. So let's pick a juicy one for our example, the Devil card. This one is all about vices and base instincts and money and power and giving in to bestial urges, all that. The past, tied to the Devil card, involves a life of excess and violent reactions to events and problems with animals and drugs and alcohol and addiction and gambling, all of that. The bonus you could choose from it would give you a +1 to your beast aspect and 3 points to allocate to its characteristics. The advantage tied to this card is called Animal Instinct. Your senses are always active, you're always vigilant, and you gain a +10 to initiative when you're ambushed, and you lose some of the penalties that you would normally have if you're the target of a surprise attack. If you choose the Devil card as your disadvantage, you gain the Bully trait. You have all the hallmarks of a bully that you can play up in your roleplay. And in gameplay terms, your machine aspect, which is like your intellect, can never rise above 5. With 22 major arcana cards to choose from, you're really going to have a wide variety of characters ready to go. Now, after that, you select your great deed. You had to have some sort of great accomplishment in order to join the Order of the Knight. Each great deed has prerequisites, like minimum characteristic scores in certain areas, and the deed gives you certain bonuses, plus some example call signs that you can use or take inspiration from for your name. So for example, let's say that you want an Iron Man type great deed. You helped in some way design the first meta armor. In game lore terms, you helped Merlin design Excalibur. You don't know everything about the armor, but your contribution was vital to completing the original project. The prereq is a tech or knowledge score of at least 4. Your bonus is a +1 to the machine aspect and 2 points to contribute to other characteristics under it. For your call sign, you might choose something like the armorer, the blacksmith, or the maker, or something tied to that kind of idea. Then you choose your crest and your vow, which are for role-playing purposes. The book gives you quite a few. For example, the serpent represents knowledge and darkness. So while the knights are really a lawful good order, the serpents kind of stray a little bit closer to the dark side, which can make them a little bit of an outcast within the order. But they are obsessed with uncovering the anathema's hidden mysteries, and I'm all about that. Next, you choose motivations. What drives you? You'll have lesser motivations, which are open-ended, repeatable objectives, maybe something like saving innocent civilians, and each time you fulfill one of your lesser motivations, your GM may allow you to regain some hope points. Then you have your main motivation, a close-ended objective that you're driving towards, something like developing an antidote to the despair caused by the anathema. This may involve a long counter that you'll be accumulating points toward during your adventures. And then we get to the meta armor, and oh my god, there's so much here, and I am going to let you discover most of it on your own. Each set of armor is like a knight's sword. It's part of who they are and becomes an extension of themselves. Each armor has a background, general appearance, one or more special abilities, a number of upgrade slots, and overdrive scores, and armor points, and power points, and a force field value. So, a couple of those things. Overdrives gives you guaranteed successes on certain checks. If you have 2 acuity overdrives, you essentially gain a +2 successes to any check that includes acuity in your combo. Force fields reduce your incoming damage, and energy points fuel your armor's modules and abilities. And then each set of armor has a number of evolutions that you'll earn as you accomplish goals in your campaign. The book starts off with 9 different meta armor models divided into 3 generations. The first generation focused on protection and inspiring people. Those models are called the Warrior, the Priest, the Paladin, and the War Master. The second generation focused on mobility and versatility, and those are the Rogue, Bard, and the Ranger. And the third is really high tech, let's put it that way. Those are the Wizard and, interestingly, the Barbarian. And then there's all sorts of modules that deal with everything from vision to communication to navigation to like Tony Stark style, like rapid armor deployment, just all sorts of stuff. As for the special abilities and the evolutions, let's look at the Rogue armor here as an example. You gain access to Ghost Mode, which renders you nearly silent and invisible, which is treated as a bonus to your stealth rolls. It deactivates when you attack, though. There are 3 evolutions for it. The first one makes the ability consume less energy and last longer, the second increases its effectiveness, and the third one lets you continue to use it in battle, assuming you have the energy to maintain it. And that's really the basic info that you need to build a character. The quick start guide includes some sample characters to get you started and an adventure to give you a feel for the setting and the mechanics. You'll be on a mission from Lancelot to investigate a ritualistic murder in London, so it's very much a mystery-style adventure. Now let's look at the campaign itself, starting off with some of the additional material that you can pick up. First off, we have the 2038 book, which is a full-color, 112-page expansion book for the game. Now, at the time that I'm making this, I don't have more information that I can give you about what's actually included, but you can learn more over on the campaign page. Next up, we have a pack of armor sheets, which are printed sheets that give you easy access to information about the various meta armors that you can equip in the game. The Arsenal deck is a pack of 108 reference cards for the various modules and weapons that you'll be using in the game. There's also a set of player booklets, which I also don't have the details of right now, but I assume that they will give you a place to put together your character sheets and keep track of your adventures, so see the campaign page for information on those. There's also a set of 10 custom dice, a world map, a custom GM screen, a bestiary book, and possibly more goodies as the campaign unlocks more stretch goals as it goes along. These items are available as add-ons or as part of various bundles. So, let's talk about those pledge tier bundles. Again, everything is subject to change, so be sure you check out the campaign page. Prices are in euros, but conveniently for us, the price of a euro is about the price of $1 right now. 50 euros is about 53 US dollars, so the conversion isn't too tough. You can get the hardcover deluxe Knight RPG core book for 49 euros. That is the Squire pledge. There should also be a Squire digital pledge level to give you the PDF version of the core book, but I don't have the pricing details on that one at the time of filming here. At the 99 euro Knight pledge level, you can get the core book, the dice, the Arsenal deck, and the armor sheets. At 149 euros, you get the Merlin pledge. You'll get all the above, plus the 2038 expansion book, the GM screen, the world map, and PDF versions of the core and 2038 books. And the Big Daddy Arthur pledge is 199 euros. You get all of the above, plus the player booklets, the printed and PDF bestiary, and a set of custom tarot cards that's only available as part of this pledge. And there's also stretch goals and some possible surprises to be unveiled over the course of the campaign, so go check it out. Now let me give you the usual fundraising caveats. Kickstarter, or in this case Backerkit, is not a store. You are funding the creation of a project. And I believe the estimated delivery date for Knight RPG is about a year from now. There's always some risk involved in these projects. I vet the projects I choose to present to you, and I only select the ones that I would be comfortable backing myself, but be sure to go read the entire campaign page to make sure that you're comfortable before backing. And as I've said, things often change in the days before the project launches, so some of the information that I've presented here may be a little bit out of date or different from what you see on the final campaign page, so go check it out. And also, shipping will be charged later on. Here is the estimated shipping cost per tier and destination as of today, and I think that's pretty much everything you need to know. If you do have questions, feel free to leave them for me in the comments or over on the Backerkit page. I do have the first 10 chapters, but they may change too, but I'll do my best to answer your questions. Using our links will help them know that you learned about them from us, which helps us get more sponsors and make more videos, so thank you for that. And if you're new to me, I'm Theo, and I do reviews of minis and terrain and adventures and all sorts of stuff over on YouTube at The Gallant Goblin. You can check us out there or at one of the sites over here. Thank you for watching today, and for now, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at The Gallant Goblin.